Well, obviously, these things don't happen suddenly somebody thinks of it and knee-jerk reactions are not the order of the day. And there is no planning in the sense you are saying also. This is very natural and spontaneous. I want to ask you and I want to answer your question by 3 or 4 points. Here was a man who consulted with us in the Supreme Court till 4:30 yesterday. He was then having a conference, a legal conference at my house till 7 o'clock. He then went with his lawyers and drafted the whole night, put the grounds. We didn't even have a copy of the judgment for very late, and was assisting everybody watching the court proceedings and waiting for his bail to be heard today. In that process, I'm not saying individual media, but the entire attempt was to paint him as a absconder, as a proclaimed offender. And therefore, I think collectively everybody discussed and we felt that here is a man, and I was very sad on the one hand to see the imminence of arrest, the eagerness of both the CBI and the ED in a case where the man has been on bail for so long. He's not a flight risk. He has roots in society. There is not one iota of evidence of tampering. There is nothing to do with non-cooperation. He's been called all of once by the CBI. Sad on this side, and also very happy to see that here is a man who within the day when the hearing was not held, and I want to emphasize this, Vasu, he had no reason to come to the press conference till Friday. The matter was listed on Friday now.
Yes.
He came with his head held high. He spoke straight. He used words of studied moderation. And I'm glad that we were all part of this process. And therefore, I think we said what we had to say.
Well, Mr. Singhvi, can I just ask you to describe for us those moments when you were with him at his residence with the CBI attempting to come in, because it appeared from the outside that the CBI was facing some resistance. The gates were not open. They had to jump in.
Not at all. The resistance, by the way, Vasu, was from your ilk. I had great difficulty. Kapil had great difficulty entering. We had great difficulty exiting. And it was largely because the media was completely all over the place at that time. I'm not blaming the media. Obviously, they were doing their job. But, there is no question of resistance. The CBI was with us for almost half an hour, 40 minutes. They were the ones, not us, who called the police forces to make a path here clear. That 45 minutes or 1 hour inside the house where we were sitting was because they were requesting the police force to create a path.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
At that time, when you were with the CBI, Mr. Singhvi, what did the CBI say to you? Were they able to give you an explanation as to why they were arresting him?
Obviously, I'm not privy to share these things, but obviously they had no explanation to give. They simply executed a warrant, and I don't blame them. They were the individual officers whose job they were doing. But they executed a warrant, and then they had to wait for 45 minutes to find a clear path to take him. And all that, was required was simply that he changed it to fresh clothes and he took his medicines.
Mr. Singhvi,
so what is all this psychosis being built up, about absconding and all that?
Right. And they had come with a warrant?
Obviously, they were executing a warrant.
Right. Mr. Singhvi, can I ask you this, though, that all of you, the entire Congress party, throwing its weight behind Mr. Chidambaram making his statement at Congress headquarters, how do we read that? Because the charges against him are serious. The court, while rejecting his bail, did underline the gravity of the charges. Is it then appropriate for a political party to back him so completely?
We read it as we have said in the statement which you heard.
Okay.
Just give me a minute. You should read it as we have put in the statement.
Right. Mr. Singhvi, before you go.
We made it clear that this is also, we are all united, we stand together, and this is also some part of a struggle. It's a struggle which involves antagonistic forces. There is no merit at all on the right side. I'm speaking not as a lawyer, but I'm speaking also as a person who has seen the matter and also a person who is part of a political process. There is at least no merit as far as arrest is concerned.
Okay.
You and I are not judges to judge his guilt or innocence. A judge will do it. You don't arrest like this on a 2007-8 case a person who's not a flight risk, who's not absconding, who is not tampering, who is coming whenever you called him. You called him all of once. Imagine the CBI coming tonight to arrest you when they've called you only once on 6th of June 2018.
Right.
So therefore, I have no doubt about these things.
But Mr. Singhvi, what happens next? Are you going to now move for bail? And if so, when?
No, we'll see. Let us see. We're not here discussing these things.
Okay.
His matter is coming on Friday, and let us go see after that.
Mr. Singhvi, very last question to you before I let you go, that you said that as far as the point of arrest is concerned, and that's the point you're on, that certainly appears to be egregious. There was no reason for that. But on the charges itself, Mr. Singhvi, the allegations that Mr. Chidambaram granted special favors, illegal favors in exchange for payments made into his son's companies?
I will not go into that because that is precisely what the authorities are trying to do, selective leaks, innuendos. I will say only this. Here was a 5-member FIPB of Secretaries to Government of India. He merely upheld and endorsed what 5 people held and decided after application of mine. One of those 5 was Subbarao, the future RBI governor. Now, if Mr. Karti Chidambaram's affection made Mr. P Chidambaram do all this as is falsely alleged, then I suppose these 5 wise men collectively would also be doing the same thing. Does it stand to reason? But we are not here to judge guilt. We are here to judge the correct application of the test of arrest.